tuning in to another episode of MonkeyBoy Presents the DC Comics Superhero Collection by Eaglemoss. And today we have our first double digits character, number 10, Ra's al Ghul, or Ra's al Ghul, however you want to say it. I've heard it both ways, so take your pick. And I also want to say really quick that this is the reason I get this series of figures. Figures like this one, like Ra's al Ghul. The more obscure, the lesser known, the B-list, you might say. I love when they come out with characters like this one. I'm honestly surprised he came out so soon in the collection. Anyway, as always, we will be covering, at first, the magazine, telling you everything you need to know about the character, and this one's pretty interesting. There's some really cool artwork. And then we will give a quick look at the figure itself, looking at the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's going to be a good one, folks. Stay tuned. Enjoy. Once again, I'm the Monkey Boy, also known as Jay to his friends. Here is issue number 10 of the DC Comics Superhero Collection, Ra's al Ghul. So first up, who is Ra's al Ghul? Well, the short answer to that is nobody really knows for sure. According to some, he was born hundreds of years ago, somewhere in the Middle East, left his nomadic tribe behind, and decided he wanted to see the world and travel around, and during this time, he accidentally stumbled upon something that came to be known as the Lazarus Pit. Using these pits, he kept himself young. He learned from the best the world had to offer. He honed himself to be the perfect human being, mentally, physically. He was a master tactician. I mean, he's the Batman, basically, if Batman were corrupt. And that sort of was the start of Ra's time as this vengeful leader of this tribe of his. He traveled the globe. He fought in wars like the French Revolution as a soldier for Napoleon Bonaparte. And during his travels, he also discovered there were more Lazarus pits out there. Eventually, he mellowed out. He started a family, and he actually has two daughters. His eldest daughter, Nisa, as well as his younger daughter, Talia, whom he tried to marry off to the Batman on multiple occasions. In fact, that was how the Batman first met Ra's. He was kind of tricked into taking on this mission to save his daughter Talia from these people that had kidnapped her, only to find out that Ra's was pulling the strings all along, and it was just one big test to see if the Dark Knight was truly worthy of his daughter's hand in marriage. And while Batman did admit that there was definitely something between he and Talia, he didn't want to get involved with Ra's al Ghul. He didn't want to become a part of the League of Assassins. He totally disagreed with what they stood for and refused. And that didn't really sit well with Ra's. Something I learned from this issue that I was unaware of before was that Bane actually served as one of Ra's bodyguards for a while. As the years passed, Talia then began to grow a little disenchanted with her father, feeling that he was losing more and more touch with reality every time he stepped into a Lazarus pit. It was around this time that her sister Nisa came back into the picture and started to sort of brainwash Talia into turning on Ra's. So with Nisa and Ra's both dead, Talia became the new leader of the League of Assassins and revealed that she had given birth to a son who she alleged to be Bruce Wayne's, named Damian. Damian then becomes the target of one of Ra's al Ghul's former bodyguards, a man called the White Ghost, and he successfully manages to kidnap not just Damian but also Tim Drake. We then learn that the White Ghost is in actuality carrying the soul of Ra's al Ghul and needs one of the two boys to become the new host for Ra's. Batman, of course, comes in at the last second, rescuing both Damian and Robin with the help of Talia, and they fight him off. He manages to somehow escape, though, and restore himself to life thanks to something known as the Fountain of Essence, and he transferred his soul into the body of a young monk, ready to start life anew, apparently, and he's still out there to threaten the world. The Demon's Head gets 3 classic storylines. First up, we have Batman Tales of the Demon, which is a collection of Ra's first appearances in Batman. And it's his introduction. It develops him as a character, it establishes him as one of Batman's deadliest and greatest foes, and it also shows off the talents of award-winning writer Denny O'Neil, and features artwork from the amazing Neil Adams. Next is Batman, Death and the Maidens. And this really is a history lesson on Ra's al Ghul. This is where we first learn of Nisa. Up until this time, we've only known of Talia. This is where we find out a little bit of his backstory, that he potentially comes from Arabia, that he may be as old as 600, and we find a very conflicted man. It's a really great story. Finally, we have Batman, The Resurrection of Ra's al Ghul. And this series was exactly that. It resurrected Ra's al Ghul after having been dead in the comic book world for more than 3 years. It introduced us to Damian and built the relationship between he and Bruce. He actually takes over as Robin by the end of this series. And it just fleshes out more of Ra's al Ghul's backstory and more of who he is, and it also brings him back to life. Ra's Allies and Enemies section feature his daughters, Talia and Nisa, on the first page. And the second is a nice mix of ally and enemy, and also features a really good picture of young Damian. Ra's iconography section gives us a better look at the League of Assassins, as well as some of its splinter organizations. We get to meet characters like the Sensei, the young girl known as Sin, who Black Canary and Green Arrow actually adopt to help save her from assassination by the League. And finally, we also get a glimpse at Cassandra Cain, who would become one of the most deadly incarnations of Batgirl. And this is something interesting. The original thinking section for Ra's begins something that we'll see over the next, quite a few issues. The DC timeline, and part 1 focuses on the creation of the DC universe and covers about from 20 billion to 6 billion BC. We see the universe being born. We see the very first incarnation of the Spectre. It talks about how the planets of New Genesis and Apocalypse were formed from the remnants of Urgrund, and we also get to see the birth of the color spectrum that the Green Lanterns use, featuring the Green Lantern's entity, Ion, as well as the entity of fear, Parallax. Right, Ra's al Ghul. I actually was pleasantly surprised by this figure. You know, I saw the picture of the, next issue coming, and I was sort of not so sure what to think. I was excited that it was Ra's al Ghul, because I really didn't expect it to be him, as I said. But I didn't know how I felt about what they were going for with the color scheme and the look and everything. And then I got it, and it's really, really intricately done. I mean, the detail on this figure, I haven't seen this level of detail since Joker, honestly. The only criticism I have are his pants. I'm not crazy about the brown pants. I get they wanted to break it up. They didn't want to go with that solid green like from the comic books. And I agree with that decision. It would have been very ugly to have that solid green throughout. I mean, it's almost too much with the way it is, but it's okay. They kept it pretty decent with this. It's not too much. not even going to try to get too close because there's so much detail. I'm afraid it's going to be lost with this, but he's got gray in his hair, he has the goatee, and all that gold detail there, it's like Aztec gold or something, I don't know, it's like etched, it's really cool. Better pictures here to come. Stands above the DC logo, and the underside of the base has his name and serial number, and for the fun of it we have a picture of him next to the Dark Knight Detective. Raish is a stunning figure, he really is. As I said, I didn't know what to think when I saw that he was the next one, and then I can't tell you how unbelievably cool he is once I got him out of the package and really looked at all the details. He has gray in his hair, he has highlights in his hair, the goatee, his eyes, the high collar, the cape, all of the detailing in all of the gold on the figure, like runes or something. It's so detailed, it's so intricate. I'm glad they went with the brown pants. It really breaks the figure up. I just wish it was something other than brown, I guess. It just looks sort of weird. He's all of a sudden wearing these Dockers. The good. Really everything about this figure is great. The paint scheme for the most part is really nice. The color scheme, again, for the most part is really nice. Love the head sculpt. Love all of the intricate little details. The bad, not crazy about the pants, as I said. The only thing bad on my particular figure is the goatee. It's a little wonky on the one side, but that's just a minor issue, and again, it goes back to the whole hand-painted thing. The ugly. I haven't heard anything ugly about this figure. I have no problems with this figure. Again, though, if you're a picky collector like I am, make sure you check it before you buy it, you know. Ask them if you can take it out of the blister, even if they'll let you do that. It's just held in with some Scotch tape. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a great figure. Really excited by it. There's going to be a quick teaser for the next one after this. I hope you all have enjoyed this review as much as I have enjoyed bringing it to you all, and I look forward to the next one. As always, I am the Monkey Boy, and I thank you very much for watching.